Hey guys, welcome to the Thursday night edition of Starcastic Remarks. We've done these numerous weeks before. How goes it,
Yep.
gentlemen?
It go good.
It go good. Anyways, to my right is Chris. To my left is James. My name is Ryan. Welcome to a weird episode. We decided that, with all these games on Wednesday and everything, it's been a while since we just sat down and talked hockey and talk about the tire fire that is the Vancouver Canucks and stink oven maybe a little bit and some other stuff. So we thought it'd be kind of fun just to sit online and talk for a little bit. So, anyways, how are you guys doing from last night? Are you still upset about the game last night?
Not as upset as you were.
I was very
No,
upset.
I'm much less upset because of the night that the Central and other great teams are having today. There's some weird scores tonight that's been going on. The Predators beat the Devils 6-4. The Sabres beat the Jets 3-2. The Capitals beat the Penguins 3-2. The Coyotes are beating the Blues 5-0 right now. The Blackhawks are beating the Flames 4-1. And the Ducks and Avalanche are 4-3 for the Ducks with 5 minutes left of the third. So some really strong underdog performances tonight. So I'm much less upset about it now.
And the Ducks actually just took the lead from the Avalanche too. I don't know if y'all saw that, but that was kind of fun. Yeah. Well, anyways, we're just here to talk about just to see what's going on across the NHL. And like we said, it's been a while since we've done one of these episodes, but we obviously need to talk about Bruce Boudreau and Vancouver just to get started with, because the whole situation there is just absolutely crazy. It gets a little weirder today because Kuzmenko, who is one of the guys that came over from the KHL, signed an extension today. So that was kind of weird, but he's had a good season, so he definitely deserves the extension. But it kind of goes against the idea that Vancouver is going to sell everything off at the deadline. Obviously, it doesn't appear that Kuzmenko is going to go anywhere. The guy's got 40 something points in 44 games or something like that. He's had a really good year. But obviously with Vancouver, you got to talk about the recent firing of Bruce Boudreau. And he didn't even get to coach a full season with this team. He got to coach a part of the season last year and then a part of the season this year. And a lot of people are just really upset at the way that he was really treated on his way out from Vancouver. So I don't know what you guys have seen on this particular issue or what you've heard. I mean, what do you guys know of this situation?
Yeah, overall, I'm gonna even take it further from the situation. The Canucks in general have been in the exact same state for the last 20 years, it feels like. Like their only goal is to be a bubble team, and they can't even do that. So with the recent trades that they made, I don't remember, I think it was last offseason, it's not this offseason, but they kind of reworked a bunch of guys on their team. And I have a buddy who's a Canucks fan. He was like, yeah, nothing's going to change. It's going to be the exact same. And I was like, all right, it's fair. And he was exactly right, because it was the exact same last year. And then this year, it is surprisingly even worse. So, yeah, it's obviously not cool having to Bruce Boudreau, and the way they went about it obviously wasn't great. But when your team underperforms as badly as the Canucks are this year, what's the easiest thing to change? It's the coach. So,
yeah, but you can obviously see that the coach is not the problem, right? I mean, Bruce Boudreau is not the problem.
No, doesn't matter.
The worst part to me was they didn't just clean fire him off. They kind of let him hang around hey, you're fired, but you're still going to coach this team for a little bit. That was probably the worst part to me, is that's really what it felt like.
Oh, that's the other thing that was really frustrating for a lot of people, was because they've got a guy named Mike Yeo, who was at one point a head coach in the NHL. So it's not like he doesn't have experience running an NHL bench. So they could have very easily said, hey, you know what, Bruce, we're going to go in a different direction. You weren't our guy to begin with. We're just going to let you go so you don't have to be around for this and not string you around. And the thing is they kept him around. Yeah. I mean, this is this is the same idea of keeping one of your favorite players around, even though he's going to be gone later. Right? and just it's awkward. It's like super awkward. And the franchise just continued to let him kind of hang around and say, "Hey, I'm sort of kind of coaching this team." I can't imagine what it must have been like at practices, especially the last couple of weeks, knowing he was going to get canned. So,
yeah, just poorly managed by a bad franchise. I mean, I think it's kind of obvious the Canucks have been bad for a while. I'm shocked they haven't gone through more GMs, and they've been through quite a few.
yeah, and that's the other thing is their cap management. I mean, I know we complain about Jim Nill, but he's kind of been the complaints against Jim Nill have been very quiet as of late, especially this year because the Stars have been doing so well. But we've complained about Jim Nill not going out there and getting the big, shiny new toy or whatever. But I mean, Vancouver they have no cap management whatsoever. It's like the U.S. government, just spend, and just borrow money and just continue doing ridiculous stuff. So, they've got some guys on some contracts. And the other thing that doesn't make sense about the Vancouver Canucks is the players they have are actually pretty good. Like, they've got an Elias Pettersson who is very similar to a Jason Robertson in a way. He kind of fulfills that role for Vancouver. You've got Brock Besser. You've got Bo Horvat, like guys who can put the puck in the net. You got Kuzmenko, who kind of came out of nowhere from the KHL, signed in Vancouver of all places. You've got Quinn Hughes. You've got Thatcher Demko, which he's a great goalie.
The point is they have no excuse to be playing this bad so far this season. And when you don't have an excuse, the only thing to blame is the coach. If you're the GM, you can blame yourself and say the depth guys you have are terrible, but they're not going to do that.
It's at this point, it's just like they haven't ever gone into a rebuild. It feels like I've never seen the Canucks in a rebuild. They constantly feels like they don't have a direction at all, and that's what it feels like this season too. And they're sitting in the same spot that they always are, which is so are we gonna keep trying this, or are we gonna finally, after forever, sell everything off and try to rebuild? And year after year, it feels like they're just no, we're just gonna keep trying. We're just gonna keep doing
just
what we're
retool.
doing.
Just retool.
Yeah. It's like something is obviously wrong here, and they refuse to do anything to change it.
And here's the other thing. The difference between a market like Dallas, like us, and a market like Vancouver is that you can get away with tanking in a Canadian market, I feel like, because that is their number one sport in Canada, is hockey. So you can get away with sucking for a couple of years and still make a profit because people will be able to see a direction of the team, right? So as bad as Chicago is in what they've done and tearing the team down and everything, at least they have a direction, right? Like a couple of years ago, this Vancouver team went to the second round of the playoffs in the bubble playoffs, and it looked like they were going to be taking that next step. And then the past 2 years, they've just absolutely sucked it up, except for the one time when Bruce Boudreau came in last season, and they were one of the best teams in the NHL from the time he took over the team. They were 32-12 and 3 or something like that. They had 32 wins in the last 50 or 60 games of the season. It was insane what they were able to do. So I feel for Vancouver Canucks fans because there's just no direction of this team. And it kind of makes me wonder about the Buffalo Sabres of the past when Jack Eichel was there. It's they've got a superstar budding player, but they're just never able to make the playoffs. So it must really suck to be a Vancouver Canuck fan right now.
Yeah. They wasted the Sedin twins, and now they're going to waste Elias Pettersson. And Elias Pettersson. Can't forget about Elias Pettersson.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. Yeah. Chris is making a joke because there are two Elias Petterssons. One is actually a defenseman. I thought that was hilarious when they signed him. So, okay. Well, anyway, hopefully just for the fans' sake, I guess they'll get better, but I don't know what they do. I don't. What do you do to fix this?
They're trading Bo Horvat almost for sure. I think.
Oh no, yeah. There's no doubt.
It down.
There's no doubt in my mind that
without Bo Horvat, you have no team here. It's as bad as Chicago without Bo Horvat. Honestly,
It's getting bad with the Bo Horvat situation, even because they originally weren't going to sign him at all, and now they're saying they want to sign him again. So it's like it's getting worse, and I feel like at some point it's going to be like too late, and then they're not going to get anything for him at all. So I mean, I really feel like that they're even struggling with the things that should be easy and obvious to do.
Yeah, with Vancouver, I think it's likely that they might accidentally hold on to Bo Horvat after the trade deadline. That would be hilarious. Like they call the office and they're like, "Oh, sorry, it's too late. Time's up."
It really wouldn't surprise me at some point, like because especially with all the cap space problems that are in the NHL right now, like you're gonna run out of time if you don't get a deal going already.
That would be so funny.
Yeah. Oh, Ardell, that is so mean. Vancouver are the Texas Rangers of hockey. They were one game from the Stanley Cup, just like the Texas Rangers were one strike away from winning the World Series. Dare I even mention that? Sorry, Chris.
Shut up, Brian.
We stopped watching baseball after that, or at least I did. I didn't watch
baseball. I love you, Chris.
That's gotta be like one of my most like gruesome childhood memories. Yes, I had a very good childhood. Everybody, sorry.
Well, okay. We actually weren't planning on talking about this, but I thought this would be kind of interesting to talk about because I've heard it from multiple different places and it's just speculation and stuff like this. But could this be the year of the three-way trade? And let me go into a little bit of details here, okay? Because Chris, James, we talked about how like no teams have any cap space, at least the teams that are looking to make moves and make their team better, right? So if you have, let's say, I don't know. I don't know actually how much Patrick Kane costs, but like, let's say he makes $10 million, right? I think he makes more than that, but just say he makes $10 million. Let's just say that one team retains him for 50%, right? And then he goes through that team and gets traded again to the actual team that wants him, and they get the 50% of the 50%. So instead of him costing a team $5 million on their cap space, he actually only costs them 2.5 for the remainder of the year. So do you think that's something that we will see a lot of? And, GMs are just going to get creative with the way that they approach the trade market this year? Or do we think that we're going to see less trades and not big name players being moved around, even though there's guys like Bo Horvat and Jacob Chikrin and, insert name here. There's quite a few.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be that many trades, honestly. I'm probably against y'all on this one, but I think there's going to be a lot of big names like Jacob Chikrin who aren't getting traded because they can't be, because nobody has space to move them. And the Coyotes aren't going to give up such a small haul for a Jacob Chikrin. So I think we really could see situations like that where there's nothing that you can really give up to get one of these bigger players just because of the contract size. For the guys who are outplaying their contracts, they will for sure move. But the guys who are they're kind of on their contracts, I would say like Kane, Taves, I don't know if they're going anywhere.
I think we'll see less trades, but if there's a team that like knows that this is kind of like their last year to really go for it,
Boston.
Yeah. Boston. Yeah. They're gonna be
push all the chips.
Yes. I think you will definitely see a three-way trade for some big player if they really, really, really want to win, which I think Boston is probably one of those teams because this is probably one of the last years they're gonna have with the team that's going to be this good. So if there was ever a time for a team to trade everything away, this is the year to do it, I guess.
Well, and Brooke is right over here. Colorado did something, didn't read who. It was just a minor deal. The biggest name player out of that trade was Matt Nieto, who is a former Colorado Avalanche. So he just goes back to Colorado. He was in San Jose, came back to Colorado. So it's just more purely of a depth move for Colorado, which, by the way, if Colorado makes the playoffs and they're the wild card and we have to play them in the first round, gosh, that sucks.
They're not going to be the wild card, dude. There's no way. Yeah, have you seen how much they've been winning recently? And especially with the Wild starting to kind of slow down
Falter
quite a
off
bit.
a little bit. Mm-hmm.
I think it's likely Minnesota is going to be the wild card team. If the Central even gets a wild card team.
Honestly.
That's true. Yeah. I just tweeted yesterday about the fact that, at that current moment, when I looked at the standings, there were 5 teams from the Pacific that were in the playoffs and 3 from the Central. I never would have thought that in a million years at the beginning of the season that would be the case. But teams like St. Louis, I mean, they've completely squandered and have sucked it up this year. Nashville has nobody helping them score goals. UC Saros is basically manning the team by himself. I mean, it's just weird. It is so weird. And then the teams that are at the top of the Western Conference, no offense to Dallas, I love Dallas, but I didn't see them being first in the Western Conference. Let's be honest, right? Winnipeg and Seattle has a chance to be number 1 in the Western Conference right now. They have a shot. It's weird.
Those make sense. Maybe Winnipeg not.
Seattle,
no. That doesn't
bull
make
crap.
Sense. Yeah, Seattle doesn't make any sense. I said that they would be top 3. I want y'all to admit I called that preseason. I said they would be in the playoffs. But
you did.
I mean, yeah, I don't know about the Kings. And Seattle still doesn't make sense. If you look at their advanced stats, they are outscoring what they should be scoring by an exceptional margin that has never been seen before.
And they just keep doing it.
It keeps happening.
I keep thinking like every week I was like, okay, maybe they'll slow down. And then they scored like 8 in a game. It's like, okay.
And then look at their scoring differential. They're just finding ways to win. It's not like they're blowing guys out. They're just barely winning every game. What is happening?
I mean, plus 27 is pretty good, Chris.
Well, look at the Stars. What are they? They're like
we're
plus
41. That's crazy.
Heck yeah.
That's good. That's even the only team that is better than us in the entire league is Boston.
Yeah,
and goal differential. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another thing I would have never I would have never bet money on at all that the Stars were going to be the second best team when it comes to goal differential.
Since
even
we're
with a new
on a
coach.
Tangent, I mean,
I go for it.
We talk about how Boston's the only team higher than us in goal differential. If we just don't suck in overtime, we're fantastic. I mean, we're the third best team in the league if we don't suck in overtime. I mean,
how many losses do we have again? Is it 8 or
9?
9. Again,
6
we win half of those
teams.
Yeah.
So
it just sucks. And then a lot of our losses, our regulation losses, have been against like kind of crappy teams.
No,
I mean, there's the Ottawa game, there's the Anaheim game, that the worst game I've ever watched.
6 of our losses have been against bad teams.
Yes,
not
but like
that.
games we should win.
Not a lot.
Games we should win.
There's not very many. Check your stats.
Yes, there's a lot more losses that other better teams do to worse opponents than the Stars do. The Stars are very good at beating bad opponents.
Yeah.
You had to think about that for a second, didn't you, James?
Yes, it was hard to word. Words are hard.
All right. Speaking about Bo Horvat, Bo Horvat's in the news today. A lot of rumor guys and insiders, so-called, are talking about the Stars being in some serious talks with the Vancouver Canucks over some Bo Horvat.
Oh, did you? I love. Did you watch that? It was like a news. I forgot where it was from. It was like a newsreel about Bruce Boudreau being fired, and the person who was on the news obviously was not a Stars fan, a hockey fan at all. And they said the Vancouver Canucks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was so terrible. Anyways, so where did you see this, Chris? That was interesting because I haven't seen anything like that.
Oh. Well, I thought y'all saw it too. Oh, well, I saw it on Twitter. The Stars and some other team, I don't remember who. It might have been Colorado. Are in serious
okay.
talks.
Hold on. Hey, Ardell's got some insider information for us there since I didn't do my job. I heard it on the ticket, Ryan. Huh. That'd be interesting.
But I've been told that this insider is not a super reliable insider. So take it with a little rock of salt.
I mean, at this point, though, everyone's going to be in talks for Bo Horvat. They want to see what it's going to take.
Yeah, they were saying this rumor was saying that Dallas and Brooke brought it up. It was New Jersey were being especially aggressive and trying to find a way to get a deal done sooner rather than later. Unlike other teams who are probably waiting to a little bit closer to the deadline. But we talked a little bit about Bo Horvat. I'd say about a month ago, probably, but.
We can talk about what it may cost to get him over here.
Thinking. What do we think about Bo Horvat now? I mean, it's obviously not a bad thing to add a scorer like that. We talk about the hole that Gurianov has. It'd be nice to fill that with a Bo Horvat.
Right, but here's the thing: is we already have a guy that is going to fill that role as early as maybe even this season after he's done in junior hockey. Logan Stankoven.
He's not playing this
season. If there's a way for him to play, he's going to be playing this season, even if it's in the playoffs. I think he if he can, he will.
No way to throw Stankoven into the playoffs.
And here's the other thing. Here's the other thing.
That'd be hilarious. That's like literally throwing someone into a Shark Tank.
Hey, we did that with Thomas Harley, and look how well he ended up.
Yeah, it's great.
So, well, okay, now side tangent for a quick second. Thomas Harley has been absolutely excellent this year with the Texas Stars, and maybe that's what they should have done last year. Just kept him at the AHL level. I think he'll be ready for a job next year. Anyways, back to the Bo Horvat situation.
I've been saying that for 4 years.
He's 21. Give him a break.
Yeah, I'm just saying we've been saying that for 4 years.
Okay. Anyways, if I'm Vancouver, I put all of my eggs in a basket and I tried to make this team at least a playoff bubble team, and I sucked it up big time. So if I have a Bo Horvat on my team, the only player that I'm looking at is Logan Stankoven in return for Bo Horvat. And that right there is a 100% deal breaker. Heck no. That's not happening.
I agree. So, that should be a deal breaker.
Yes, it 100 should be. I mean, but if I'm Vancouver, that's who I want, because I'm not getting Connor Bedard because I don't suck enough to get Connor Bedard.
If they tried hard enough, they could suck hard enough.
I don't think so. But stop it. But anyways, that's just what it's gonna. I think that's what it's gonna be. They're gonna ask for Logan Stankoven.
I don't think that they're gonna ask for that. Nothing else. Because like I said earlier, the market's gonna be a lot more bare than people are thinking it's gonna be. And Stankoven is like, other than Bedard, he's going to be the best player not in the NHL currently.
I agree with that,
which is kind of nuts. So I don't think you're going to get Stankoven. I think they could. I think someone who should be on the table for us that a lot of people are saying is off. I think Bork is definitely on the table. I mean, this guy's already in the AHL. He's not tearing up the AHL. It's not like he's blowing everybody out of the water. He's definitely a top prospect for us still. But
definitely.
Yeah, but if you've got the option to get Bo Horvat to make a push to the playoffs, and they offer Bork and a second and 24,
and
take that fast.
And I mean, when you're looking at,
can't make that work though with the salary cap. Gurianov has to go the other way.
Throw in Gurianov and all that. Yes, obviously, or they retain or something like that. I'm just saying strictly stuff that they want. There's other things that would have to happen as well, obviously.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Sorry, James, I cut you off.
Just by the way, Ryan, how far from the bottom do you think the Canucks are? Like, how many points from the bottom do you think?
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, because I haven't.
I just counted
8.
I'm gonna
Chris is
say
right. It's 8.
Oh,
are you serious?
They are 8 points from last place.
Good for you, Chris. Good guess. I was actually gonna guess. Ticket. I was gonna guess 10, so I was kind of close.
From last place. If you don't think that's close enough to just tank for Bedard, you are crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, not when Chicago is like 1-9 in their last 10 games.
Chicago isn't the worst in the league.
I know it's. Wait, no, don't tell me. Don't tell me. Who is it?
Columbus.
Is it really Columbus?
It's
really? Are you serious?
Seriously,
no,
Columbus.
It's not Anaheim.
No, Anaheim's third worst.
Anaheim's popping off.
Wow.
They are.
Okay. Jeez. Man, I again, another thing I never would have expected at the beginning of this.
Anaheim's trying really hard too, man. They are a minus 81 in goal differential, and they're only third worst in the league.
Man, well, okay, well, we have gotten on so many tangents. It is what it is. But I mean, James, Bo Horvat, is that still a possibility?
I'm not sure, man. I don't. I don't know how you're gonna fit him in the cap. If you can, then it would be amazing. That'd be so cool to see. And this really is kind of the year to do it. I mean, you're probably not gonna get another good season from Ben. Really, Pavelski could be on his last season too. He probably has a little more, but he really is a ticking time bomb at this point.
Don't disrespect Ben now, though. I mean, Renaissance.
That's true. But I mean, they're both one injury away from the end of their career. I mean, they both get even if it's like not a huge injury, I feel like that could be the end for them.
I don't know about Ben. Pavelski maybe, but Ben, I don't see it.
We were just talking about last year he was washed, and he just had a bit of sauce. So I think James is right. At any time, any of our three, Pavelski, Ben, Seguin, could just fall off the earth. I mean, honestly, that's still a major possibility for guys that are getting older. But
just surround them with young guys. Can you imagine Stankoven with Johnston and Ben? Oh, that's going to be so fun.
Yeah, I feel like that's.
I hope we see that.
That's also one thing that I was going to say about Bork. I mean, you look at our lineup right now. Where is Bork going to slot in? Is he going to end? He's going to end up being a bottom six forward.
I mean, Seguin, Marchment, Bork. That sounds amazing.
That's the third line. Yeah. That's the third. I mean, the Seguin is the third line right now. I mean, I know everyone's saying that Johnston and Ben are the third line, but they're not. The way that they're playing better. So, and they're getting more offensive chances. So, I mean, I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Man, the Stars look so good right now.
Yeah.
The next couple of years, even, goodness. I love Jim Nill.
I mean, and
I know that adopt me.
And I know that like you're kind of down on Thomas Harley a little bit, Chris, but we literally just talked about last night how Miro Heiskanen is pretty much the only guy that can move the puck out of the zone pretty well, right? I mean, other than Lundqvist, which Lundqvist wasn't in the game last night, that's another guy right there that can do that job. And apparently the defensive side of his game, which he is a defenseman, has gotten significantly better. So, I mean, I'm excited to see what comes on with him and see if he can make the Stars roster next season. So
yeah, and I mean, we're with Delhi making the lineup this year too. I mean, I kind of thought Delhi was kind of on the
washed
on the back end of what he was at. I mean, he's still only 22. Yeah, he's still only 22, so he's a little younger than Harley is, but that's pretty normal for forwards. So in terms of where Harley is in his development, he's definitely not the crazy defenseman that we thought he could be, but it doesn't mean that he's not going to be a very solid defenseman in the next couple of years.
Yeah, he could definitely be a top 4 guy. We don't need him to be a top 2 guy. We've got a Miro for that, right? I mean,
he's 1 and 2.
Yeah, and 3.
Plays the minutes of it too.
So, but yeah, okay. And I do want to mention this because it kind of made me sad. One of my kind of dark horse picks for the Stars to go after that I was kind of hoping they'd go after got hurt. Shane Gostisbehere, he's out for 4 to 6 weeks. So I think that kind of nixes any kind of possible trades. Although, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, they did that with Zuccarello. Maybe, but Nil did it with Zuccarello. When Zuccarello was hurt, he only played like 2 games in the regular season. And he came into the playoffs and was just completely amazing.
Well,
on that second line,
he got hurt after we traded for him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's what it was. Okay, so never mind. But
yeah, that was just unlucky.
Yeah, it was very unlucky. But I don't know. I was kind of hoping to see Ghost on our team, but okay. Do we need to move on?
Sure.
I mean, I don't know. We talked about a whole bunch of stuff, so let's talk about this. Okay, so Jeff Merrick, who, if you don't know who Jeff Merrick is, he's a very well-known hockey insider across the hockey world, right? So since we're kind of talking about trades and stuff like that here, one player that we haven't mentioned as much in today's episode is Radek Faksa. And one of the questions that Jeff Merrick was putting up is, would Dallas be willing to part with Faksa? And I would like to know what your answer to that question would be.
Yes.
Chris thinks he's overpaid anyway, so I thought that was pretty easy for Chris. James,
I mean,
I also would go with yes, just because I mean, if you're trying to improve a spot on our roster, and I mean, Fox is still a really great player too. So it's not going to be like a Gurionov where you're not going to get anything for Gurionov. Fox has some value to him on the trade market, I'm sure.
Yeah, especially on a team that has bad depth, which the Stars don't have. They have great depth. But my thinking is like, what does Foxa bring us that Glendening doesn't already do? I mean, they're kind of the same thing. Fox is a little bigger. I mean, that's what I'll say. And he's worse at shooting.
That's true.
that's very true. Now, I think for me, I will say it depends. So yes and no. If it's I know, I'm kind of copping out with this, but I value Fox a lot more than you guys do, in my own opinion. Do
you value him worth $3 million?
Yes, I do. I do. Nice. He's fantastic in the role that he's asked to play, and I will sing his praises.
He's asked to play worth $3 million?
Yes, it is.
Yikes!
But if it means that we get a player like a Bo Horvat or a Patrick Kane, would I be willing to part with Fox for a player like that to improve the scoring on the team right now? The answer to that is most definitely yes, because we've obviously seen that the depth on this team scoring-wise has kind of been hit or miss. It's been very streaky. Like, at points, Marchman has looked good, and at points, Kiviranta has looked good and has been filling on one of those middle six, lines. But there's somebody there that's missing, and I don't know. I'm only willing to part with Fox if it's going to be like a player that we know that we can rely upon, that will be able to play with our players well in the middle six lines. And we've got plenty of guys that can fulfill that same role that Foxa does. But I just really love that fourth line of Kiviranta, Foxa, and Glendening. It's one of my favorite lines I think I've ever watched play.
I think
it reminds me a lot of the way that like Antoine Roussel would play, and Steve Ott. And I actually went and watched some Ryan Garbett. Man, that guy. Chris Connor, like one of the shortest guys ever. He was like 5'6", I think.
Yeah.
Shane Turley, like these guys like that. I love the way that they play. Sorry,
it's definitely one of the best fourth lines in the league for sure. I mean, the Stars' depth is one of their strongest suits, and I mean they spend a lot of money on it too. But if you can trade a little piece of your best fourth line for a guy who can make a much bigger impact, you've got to do it. So I agree with that. I'm going to come at y'all with a little more numbers just because I'm a Foxa hater. Fox is making $3 million a year. I'm just making $4 million. Is Oettinger only 25% more valuable than Radek Foxa? No.
I would say no, definitely. No.
So,
yeah, you're right.
Bad contract.
I think Otter is just crazy underpaid in my opinion. But
yeah.
I mean, both can be true.
Yeah, that's also true. Yeah, both can be true.
I mean, we're paying Glendening like what, 1.5,
right?
Yeah, and I don't think he's that much worse than Foxa.
Yeah. So, for me personally, I think to answer that question, I think it just depends on who we get. If we get another big name that helps us push our name into the Stanley Cup Stanley Cup champion, conversation, which a lot of people are still not doing, even though we're, top 5 in the league and top 10 in almost every major category
in overtime. When you do that consistently, you are not going to be looked at seriously.
But hey, maybe we can find somebody that can help us in the freaking overtime. Okay, all right. I
think we will surprise some people when it comes playoff times.
Yeah, but to wrap up on it, Ryan, I agree with you. We should not move Foxa unless it's for a big piece. I mean, we shouldn't move him just to add a pool. I can't say his name. Puljujärvi. That's definitely how you say it. But yeah, we shouldn't add it. We shouldn't move him just for that. So the only way you move it is if you get one of these big guys, like you're saying. So I agree with you.
We didn't actually even answer that question last night. But would y'all make that trade, Gurianov for Puljujärvi? Or
yes.
Did we mention that?
I would trade Gurianov for a bag of pucks right now.
I'd trade Gurianov for a bag of Cinnabon Delights right now. But that's just me, because I really want Cinnabon right now. But James, what do you think?
Yeah.
He's just like,
all right, next topic.
It's so sad to talk about, man.
Okay, yeah, it is. Okay. Anyways, I want to talk about all-star rosters because it's ridiculous that one of the three of Miro Heiskanen, Jake Ottinger, and Rope Hintz are not in the all-star roster. We are the best team in the Western Conference, and we have one player representing us from our team. One. Now, don't you tell me that that's a bunch of bull crap.
Well, that's just because the NHL All-Star game sucks. But if you want to hear the really crazy thing is that we have a goalie who is number 2 in goals against average and save percentage and shutout wins. He's number 2 in the league, the entire league, and he's not a top 2 goalie in his conference. Sure. Okay.
Yeah, it's really stupid. But I mean, when you talk about how they did it, it's a fan vote. And I guarantee you there's a lot bigger markets with a lot more fans.
No, this whole thing about, oh, well, we made a fan vote and we're following the fan. That didn't happen. Bull crap. They didn't even show us the results.
Show us the results, NHL. Power to the people. Freedom of Information Act. We're suing.
It's stupid.
Announced right here. Go to sue the NHL.sarcasticremarks.com. Donate to our cause. We are going to hire a lawyer. We are coming after the NHL for this information. The people deserve answers.
Oh my gosh. Now we're going to get people are going to clip that and we're going to get in all sorts of trouble now.
Clip it,
okay with that.
But okay, here's one thing that I don't understand. Okay? You've got 3 players from Colorado. Okay, fine. All right, they won the Stanley Cup last year. But you're telling me that Nathan McKinnon, who has been hurt for majority of the season, it deserves to be in the All-Star game above Rope Hintz or Miro Heiskanen or Jake Ottinger.
No, I don't think anybody thinks that anymore. It's just that the All-Star game is stupid.
Yeah. Honestly, at this point, free vacation for our players.
Yeah, honestly, I'm more glad about that. I mean,
that's the positive side.
I feel bad for Robertson,
especially for Otter. That's kind of really important, especially for how many games he's played. So,
and also,
I mean, Hellebuck and Saros have played just as much, and they're not getting the break now.
And the only thing that this can do for Ottinger is make him better, just because of his mindset. I mean, he'd be like, "Oh, he didn't put me in the All-Star game. They think I suck." And it gives him more fire. I mean, that's what he needs. That's what he lives on. He lives on being counted out.
I just really wish they would actually put in the All-Stars that are the best players in the NHL. I mean,
I wish they would just get rid of the All-Star game.
What's even stupider is that the All-Star game is in Florida, and one Florida person made it into the All-Star game. There will be one Florida player at the All-Star game that is happening in Florida.
Smart.
That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
Next topic. I hate the All-Star game.
I just don't think it's fair. So, Chris, you just think you just get rid of it?
Oh yeah, it sucks. You should name. Here's All-Star Line 1. Here's All-Star Line 2. Here's All-Star Line 3. Here's All-Star Line 4. Just name an All-Star team, a full All-Star regular team, and everyone says yay, and everyone goes to Cabo for a week.
What about the Super Skills competition? I still kind of like that. That's kind of fun.
The Super Skills competition has gotten so boring recently. It takes so long. 5 hours? Okay, it's probably not 5 hours. There's so much dead time in this Super Skills competition now. When I remember it, it was way more fun. It sucks now. It is slow and dull and boring and blah. It's all the setup that they try and do. Like the stupid, what was it? When they were shooting from the concourse onto the ice.
Yeah.
Okay, it looked kind of cool, but the game was lame. Nobody scored any points, and it took an hour to set up and tear down. What are we doing? Just slap a puck at the net as hard as possible and have someone break a puck in half. That's what I remember. That's what I want. I don't want people shooting things into frog mouths or whatever. Stupid.
They should just try to do something different. I mean, what the NFL is doing this year. I don't know if y'all saw that watching the Cowboys game.
I mean,
Yeah, they're playing flag football. That's kind of interesting. That's different.
Yeah, at least they're doing the 3-on-3 tournament rather than the full game like they were before, which was just even worse. But even the 3-on-3 is like everyone's just half skating around, and it's in the middle of the season too. Like even at least the Pro Bowl is at the end of the year, where only 2 teams care if they get hurt. Right now, it's like nobody's going to do anything to even remotely injure themselves. It's just stupid.
Is that something you would consider though? Maybe moving the All-Star game to like right before the Stanley Cup Finals, and then the teams that have, players that would have been in the game, just take them out because they need to stay healthy for the Stanley Cup Final.
No,
I think that would be better than. I think that would be better than doing what they do now.
What I think they should do is they should play the World Cup of Hockey and have everyone go full force all the time.
Happen.
That is way more exciting than the freaking All-Star game. Give us the World Cup of Hockey. Bring it back.
Yes, that's a good take, Chris. I like
Screw All-Star game, World Cup of Hockey. Genius.
Okay. I don't want to talk about anything else. I got other stuff to talk about.
Bread. But... Okay. We're doing the Who Cares segment.
You didn't even talk. You didn't even tell them what you
Chris.
You said bread.
Good segue.
We're talking about bread.
We're talking about bread.
This just needs its own podcast, honestly.
That's
that's what this is. This is not the Who Cares segment. We are announcing a new podcast. It's called Bread Talk. No, but we're doing top 3 breads. We had to have no stipulations, no rules on this, and we've had about 7 years to think about it. So, James, what is your third bread favorite?
My third bread favorite is cinnamon raisin bread. The swirl cinnamon raisin bread.
Cringe.
It's really good, especially when you toast it and then you put butter on it. Like you can go just butter, and it's so good.
It is so overrated. Yes. Ryan, number 3.
That was actually my number 3 too.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I love cinnamon raisin. But now specifically, shut it. Now, for me, it's not the cinnamon swirl bread. For me, it's like the cinnamon raisin bread, but you got to toast it and then put butter on it. That's when
exactly
I really
what James
really
just
like
said. Yeah, but okay.
No, you said the cinnamon swirl bread. There's a difference.
The
cinnamon raisin swirl. You dummy.
No, there's a difference.
There's a brand that is called Swirl. That's the kind I like.
Chris, number 3. This is going to be an actual good bread. Actually, this is kind of a polarizing bread. Some people hate this bread really, really bad. It is ciabatta.
I don't mind ciabatta.
What the heck is ciabatta?
Ciabatta, look it up. It's delicious. It's got a super crackly, crispy crust. Got a nice little like chew to it, and it's got kind of like it's not sourdough, but I don't know. It's got a good flavor. It's a bready bread. It's a bread that tastes like
bread that I wouldn't like. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I think you wouldn't like it, but it's a bread that tastes like bread, and I like that bread. James, second bread.
Okay, my second bread is Nature's Own honey wheat. I like the honey wheat.
That is good. Yes.
The whole wheat is like too much. I like sandwiches, Chris. I like sandwiches. Okay. It's
make a sandwich on ciabatta.
Okay, I give up. Ryan, you're number 2. I'm taking over.
I'm upset with y'all's choices right now. Ryan, number 2.
I don't know if Chris is going to be happy with my bread, but my second bread is garlic bread. No, garlic bread is my second bread.
It's a good
Great. Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with this choice. There's lots of good garlic breads, but the best garlic bread is the one that's just completely smothered in butter. And I don't know, maybe that's just the thing with bread. It's like it's got to have butter on it. But I don't know, I really like it. And it's even better if you eat it with spaghetti. That's just the way that it tastes best is with spaghetti. So
I
that's
like my garlic bread when I am eating 4 pieces at once, and that is my only dinner. Okay. My number 2 bread.
Spoken like a true college student.
My number 2 bread is going to be probably another one that y'all haven't heard of. Focaccia bread.
Man, look up. I'm gonna make you spell all these.
Look up focaccia bread. Focaccia. Focaccia.
Did you just like Google bread on or something like that? Is that just what you did?
These are legitimately my favorite breads.
You keep looking off to the side at like your computer screen to see if you
just gotta make sure he's saying it right.
How to spell it.
Oh goodness.
Focaccia.
This looks like a lasagna bread, Chris. That's what it looks like.
Lasagna bread.
I actually
Tell
have
me
to
it
look it
doesn't
up.
look like that.
That's a great.
Tell
What
me
is
it
it?
doesn't look like
So
that.
it's lasagna bread. What it is
It
it's
looks so weird.
yeah, it looks weird and it's delicious. So it's just in a big sheet pan, and they get these little like dimples all in it. And what that does is it makes like a lot more texture on the bread, so you get more crustiness and you get more crust on there. So it's a crusty bread. It's
At
extra
least it
bread,
makes
extra
sense.
crust, less bread, and it's also very chewy and very oily.
That's probably
it's
another
very
bread that I
delicious.
wouldn't like.
Probably not, James. You just keep picking these.
I don't like a lot of breads, do
You
I?
keep picking these sandwich breads in bags.
It's okay.
All right.
My number 1 is Ryan's number 2. It's garlic bread. Garlic
Yeah,
bread
Good
is
let's
so good.
go.
choice. Good choice. All right, Ryan, number one bread.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna win the entire segment just by mentioning what my number 1 is. And y'all are both gonna agree with me because you know it is the greatest bread in the entire world. It is Mimi's French toast, the absolute best bread in the entire world.
Is that a
Yes,
bread?
it is
Or
a bread. It's
Or
French
is that
toast.
a breakfast item, Ryan?
That's
It
exactly
is
the word I
bread.
was thinking of.
No,
I guess
it's
a pancake
bread.
is bread.
Is
It's
a pancake bread?
Is a
No,
pancake
it's
bread,
not.
Ryan?
No,
If-
it's
if
If
not.
then
a
French
pancake's not
toast
bread,
is
then French
definitely
toast
not
is not
bread.
French
bread.
toast
No way.
counts. I
French
win.
bread is
you
bread.
lose.
French
No,
toast is not bread. That is a cooking thing that you do to bread.
it is.
That
bread.
is a cooking thing you do to bread.
It is
You
bread.
have to
It's
cook
like
the
calling
bread,
a crouton
then you
bread.
cook the
Is a
bread
crouton
again.
bread? A crouton is not bread.
No, it's not bread. But
So then
because
how
it
is
doesn't even
French
look
toast
like bread. Okay, no, see, Ardell over here. Ryan wins. Yes,
That is
100%.
terrible. That is
By the
terrible.
way,
Toast is
our-
not a bread.
Y'all are both
French toast
losers.
is not bread.
You know what?
Okay,
I'm gonna send Mimi this recording. By the way, Mimi is our grandmother, our dad's mom. I'm gonna send this recording to Mimi and let her hear it, and let her hear her grandsons talk about her other grandsons who she will no longer love as much as her oldest one. That her French toast is not the number 1 bread.
She'll
It
agree with
should
me.
be the
French
number 1
toast
bread.
is not bread. It's a breakfast
It
item.
is bread. Okay.
French
Anyways,
toast is a breakfast item. All right, this is the true number 1. I thought you were going with me here. I
Nope.
mean, this is the actual true number 1. I think actually both of y'all will agree with me. This is a bread that James likes. James does
Oh,
like
is
this
it?
bread. He does like this.
Oh,
one.
I don't have to look this one up.
He doesn't have to look this one up. No one has to look this
So-
one
I
up.
think I know what
Everyone
it
knows
is.
exactly what I'm talking about when it comes with a delicious dippable spread. It is
Nope.
the Texas Roadhouse buttery rolls with the cinnamon butter.
It's pretty good.
I have eaten 8 of these in one sitting
I could do
with
more.
3 cinnamon butters. It
I
was
can't believe French toast, or sorry, garlic bread didn't make your
garlic bread did not make my
didn't
top
make
3.
your
I
top
actually
three.
am
three.
very,
Not make
I am
top
very
3.
surprised at you, Chris.
I
yeah.
will say focaccia, kind of garlic bready. There's some garlic in good focaccia. Back to the Texas Roadhouse rolls. They
Do
are-
not waver from the Texas Red House rolls. Do
the
not waver.
butteriness, the softness, they are like clouds. They are seriously clouds. It is amazing. And the cinnamon butter, I mean, that is a revolution to man. That can solve world peace right there. I mean, give Putin a Texas Roadhouse roll with some cinnamon butter on it. He'll pull out of Ukraine immediately. Immediately. There will be no
Oh,
questions
man.
asked.
Gotta love
So
capitalism.
with that
right?
controversial statement, my favorite bread is Texas Roadhouse.
It's like you couldn't think of anybody else except for Putin.
That was the baddest guy I could think of at the time.
You could have picked somebody dead, like Hitler or something like that.
That might have been worse.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
probably,
that's probably true, but yeah.
shove a Texas Roadhouse roll into Hitler's mouth. All right, this
Well,
episode's
We're
getting weird.
definitely getting demonetized this episode.
Okay, well,
Dude, that'd be
actually,
cool.
I actually have one more bread that I saw in the comment section, and yeah, Brooke, I can't believe I didn't think about it, but Hawaiian rolls.
Mm-mm.
I can't believe none of us
Overrated.
thought
No.
about that.
Overrated.
What?
Way
I like
overrated.
Hawaiian rolls, okay,
They're
but
fine.
but they have to go with something. I don't just eat Hawaiian rolls by themselves.
Hawaiian roll is
Yes,
fine.
you can. You can totally do that.
Listen,
But
Hawaiian rolls are
do that.
dry. Hawaiian rolls are dry. They are so dry. The
And
only
if they're
thing they
not
have
dry,
going
then they're
for them is they're
soggy.
sweet. Yeah, and if they're not dry, they're just drenched. They're like, you can wring them out and you can fill a glass with the sweet juices, sweet Hawaiian bread juice. Delicious. Hawaiian bread is not that good. It is dry.
Wow, I am surprised at you, Christian Avery.
You gotta get these fancy breads that use letters incorrectly, like focaccia and ciabatta.
Can I change my number 1 and move everything down 1?
Sure.
Did you just
My
write
number 1 is Angel Biscuits.
Oh,
why didn't I think of that? That is
gosh.
okay. So this is something that Mimi makes.
I thought I had
at
one and I just
Thanksgiving and
lost.
Christmas, and I ate like 7 of them. I don't eat that much, okay? I ate 7 of these things.
Yeah, that's fair.
Why didn't I think of that till now? I'm disappointed in myself.
James wins.
All right.
We lose.
Bread. We like bread.
French toast is a bread.
French toast is not a bread. That's a terrible thing.
French toast is a bread.
Bread.
Bread. It's fun. Okay.
We can't do episodes this time again. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anything else, guys, before we wrap it up? I think that's it.
Oh, we didn't even talk about the Devils. Devils tomorrow. They're on a second night of back-to-back. They just lost on the road in regulation for only the 3rd time of the entire year. So let's do a back-to-back to them. Boom.
Yeah. Well, and Robe Hintz is going to be on the top line. He better be on that top line.
He will be. They already showed it in
practice. He has
today,
to be.
But whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Toast is toast. Toast is not bread.
Yes, it is. Toast is bread.
Toast is toast.
Yes,
you can't have toast without bread.
You liked just the bread before she made it into French toast.
What?
The bread that you make into
Where do you
French
think
toast,
French toast
right,
comes from?
Yes,
he
it's
has
bread.
no idea.
Yes,
it's
would
bread.
you like that bread?
Bread with egg.
No.
Yes, that is French toast.
No, what Mimi does to the bread
no?
makes it French toast. The way she does it. Okay, I'm done. Anyway.
Right.
Ryan doesn't know what French toast
you know how
is.
French toast is made?
Yes.
Ryan doesn't know what French toast is.
Yes, I know what French toast is.
No.
Okay, I'm tired.
No.
Okay, I got home at like 10 o'clock. Okay.
James, close the episode. Ryan doesn't know what French toast is. Go to sarcasticremarks.com. Go to DraftKings, use 2HBN. We're the Dallas Stars, Sarcastic Remarks Podcast. Check us out on the Dallas Stars. We'll be here tomorrow night talking about the Dallas Stars versus the New Jersey Devils. We'll catch you on the flip side. Have a good morning, evening, afternoon, whenever you're listening to this. Bye.